be. Despite her weak smile, Leilani seemed discouraged. Earlier in the fall, her aunt had accused Leilani of flirting with her overweight, middle-aged, and balding uncle, which seemed preposterous. Leilani was a beauty who could catch the eyes of most guys without even trying. Consequently, Leilani had avoided her relatives for more than a month. Finally, the aunt had come forward and apologized to Leilani. Apparently, one of her aunt's friends had gently hinted that the problem lay with her husband and not her niece.
Before I could get out of there, my aunt actually cornered me, begging me to move back in with them.
Leilani sounded weary.
She wants me to help with the children in exchange for free rent.
So you had to spend your day with children, too? Asked Kendall, with what seemed sincere compassion. I am so sorry.
Actually, the children were great.
Kendall blinked. Really?
Yes, it was the adults who drove me nuts. Honestly, I couldn't get away from them fast enough.
Did you tell your aunt you were tied into a year-long lease? Asked Megan.
I reminded her of that fact, but she seemed to think it was no big deal.
No big deal to her, said Kendall with a sly grin, but I plan to hold you to that lease. Leilani sort of laughed.
That's sure not how you felt last month.
Well, things change, said Kendall, and I'm glad that you're both home. Now, if we just had something good to eat. She glanced around. Where's Anna, anyway?
Probably still with her family, said Leilani. Come to think of it, I could probably still show up over there.
Did Gil invite you? Asked Kendall. Leilani nodded, then picked at the cuff of her silk blouse.
But I wasn't sure how his parents would react.
They still don't know that you're dating? Asked Megan.
We're not really dating,
said Leilani quickly. Kendall laughed. If you're not dating, what do you call it?
Well, we can't call it dating, explained Leilani. Not until I meet his parents.
You have met his parents, pointed out Megan.
I've only met them as Anna's friend and roommate, continued Leilani, not as their son's girlfriend. Not that we're calling it that.
Kendall shook her head. Methinks you protest too much.
Out of respect for Mr. and Mrs. Mendez, said Leilani firmly, we need to proceed slowly and carefully.
But I've heard Anna say that her parents treat Gil differently from her. She said that Latinos aren't nearly as protective of sons as they are of daughters.
Maybe so, but our age difference could be a concern.
Kendall laughed so loudly that she snorted. You are like, what, a year older than him? That is so ridiculous, Leilani. They need to get over it.
Maybe.
What they should be thinking about, said Megan, is what perfectly gorgeous children you and Gil would have. Leilani frowned.
That's getting the carriage way ahead of the horse.
Ugh, children, Kendall groaned, then stood. Please do not even use that horrid word in my presence today. She headed toward the dining room, then paused. Hey, is anyone else hungry?
Is that a hint or what?
Asked Megan quietly.
Duh, Leilani stood now. She obviously wants us to come fix something.
And you're going to? Leilani shrugged.
I'm actually pretty hungry, too. My aunt's turkey was a little on the underdone side, and eating pink turkey concerned me.
Megan stood as well. Come to think of it, I'm kind of hungry, too. I had a microwave meal that was a little on the overdone side. Think wooden turkey. Soon the three of them were foraging together in the kitchen. Kendall opened a bottle of red wine and filled 3 glasses, her contribution to the meal. And Megan managed to put together a fairly decent-looking green salad, topping it with gorgonzola and pine nuts. Leilani fixed a nice plate of crackers and cheese. Still, without a trip to the grocery store, this meal, skimpy as it seemed, was probably as good as it was going to get today.
Hey, everyone,
called Anna. She emerged through the garage door carrying 2 plastic bags, as if bearing gifts. Is that food? Asked Kendall hopefully.